Dearest gentle watcher, the video you are about to watch is my first attempt at this thing called vlogging. Maybe a little rocky, but I think it's fun. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, and enjoy. We start our journey with taking the metro to downtown LA, more specifically 7th Street Metro Center. Since I've moved here, I've always called this area Baby New York. This area resembles several parts of my city, starting here. 7th Metro is the LA version of 34th Street, even a little bit of Grand Central with all the shops. Here's a shot of this cute little area so you can chill and sit down. After a short walk, you arrive to the Grammy Museum at LA Live. This is actually my second time being here. However, I waited in line close to 40 minutes to an hour just to get in. Couldn't wait to see this exhibit. Beautiful, beautiful. So here is a beautiful mural of Selena. Now, I will say that this is the reason why the wait was so long to get inside, because there were a lot of people in line waiting to see this exhibit. At the time that I recorded this, I believe it was supposed to be ending soon, but due to popular demand, they extended it out until May 11th. I'm going to let you know right now, I did not see this exhibit, and I will get into further details as to why at the end of this video. But quick thought is they need to handle these types of exhibits a lot better. I'm not blaming the fans, I am blaming the museum. So once inside and up to the second floor, you come into the Sonic Playground. As described on the website, this is an interactive experience where you can learn about music. The exhibit features 17 unique interactives that encourage visitors to explore their creativity. From producing beats and mixing loops to performing on stage with professional instruments, visitors can step into the roles like singer, producer, and disc jockey and experience the joy of music creation. That's according to the website as a description. I actually did the music for movie picking, and I actually did very well. It was really enjoyable and my favorite part of this floor. There is also a career wall that shows you all the different roles that you can have in the music industry. Seeing how vast music is in every facet of life was quite interesting, and I thought I would possibly be a music supervisor for movies, but there are plenty of other roles that you can choose from. And now we are headed to the third floor. So on the third floor, it opens up with this case of Grammys from Henry Mancini. He was a composer for several film scores, TV shows, and was the first album of the year Grammy. You can pause to read more, but on display were 10 of his 20 Grammys. Then we move into my favorite part of the museum, which is the style/Grammy outfits. This section is always changing. In the case, we have some of Billie Eilish's accessories, Terry Jam's hat, and Sabrina Carpenter's really cute dance shoes. Then we get into the outfits. Most of them were Sabrina Carpenter, and they were honestly the cutest. This blue rhinestone is gorgeous, but I'm also a sucker for sparkles. These two are actually my favorites. I am a sucker for a good red dress. It's my favorite color. And both of these I would wear. I simply want them both. Don't know where I'm gonna wear it to, but they are absolutely gorgeous. Like, do you see this lace dress? It is simply divine and delicious. It's so glamorous. They also had this tuxedo on display from the late great Luther Vandross. He always loved a good beating. It was nice to see his outfits being displayed. Then behind the case of featured outfits is this wall of different photos from over the years of the Grammys, just displaying some iconic outfits to include Destiny's Child, NSYNC, Mary J. Blige, and various other artists, and just some iconic outfits that have come on the red carpet. I absolutely love this picture of Michael and Janet Jackson, so I had to get another close-up of that, as well as Mary J., of course, Quincy Jones, Weird Al, Whitney Houston, Cyndi Lauper. They just talk about style and how fashion influences everything between music, some Grace Jones, and other artists. Another shot of the lovely Grace Jones. We then come into my favorite exhibit, Luther Vandross. On the display were not only his stage pieces, but also his background singers. Do you see these? They are rhinestone to the gods. Here is this green jumpsuit stage costume. I love that Luther had his people in these loud, fun pieces. More of his background singers' beautiful gowns and me being silly. Here's a theater with some of his performances. While watching this, I realized how much I missed real talented singing. Take that how you want. Some of his Grammys, he won 8 and nominated for 33 over his career. Then we have more memorabilia such as the Never Too Much music sheet and lyrics to Crazy Love. Seeing all the revisions and side notes made things realer to me. It's hard to explain. Then there was this room, more of a gallery of photos. These were a part of the Retro Blakesburg, the Music Never Stopped exhibit. Explore 30 years of music history from blues, folk, rock and roll to hip hop, alternative music through the lens of photographer Jay Blacksburg. It features 150 photographs shot on film between 1978 to 2008. The dynamic exhibit showcases multiple genre and iconic musicians, ranging from Snoop Dogg, Bob Dylan to PJ Harvey, Pearl Jam, Grateful Dead. Blacksburg was originally inspired by them. He moved from New Jersey to San Francisco to be a part of the music scene. This exhibit shows his work from portraits to album and magazine covers. It was actually kind of cool now looking back at this footage of all the different places and artists that he's met. Very fun combination. In the comment section down below, let's play a game and let's name everybody that you see in these photos in this exhibit. Let's see how many we get. Finally, to the fourth floor. This starts off with a room that played a lot of performances from past shows and displayed some popular artist Grammys on display, including Taylor Swift. She was all over the place, but all I cared about was Barry White. At the back of the room and more towards the intersection into the next one were two of Janet Jackson's iconic music video outfits. The first one being That's the Way Love Goes, and the second one from Scream. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I didn't care for the fact that these were displayed in really dark areas. I felt like you really couldn't appreciate all the details in the outfit. And this wasn't the only moment where black artists are displayed in darkness. Further into the fourth floor, you have a huge display with the main subject being Michael Jackson. They had several of his jackets as well as other memorabilia, including gloves and sheet music. This was a display that I have seen before, and it seems like they rotated some of the jackets. Some of them were different from last time. The beadwork on these is something truly, truly special. There were some other outfits on display, including this Beyonce number. Apologies for the darkness, but this is where they displayed hip-hop albums. There were some classics, but like Janet, it was displayed in a very dark corner. Easy to get looked over. Last but not least, as you exit the fourth floor, there was this display of Sheila E. rhinestone drums. So gorgeous. Coming back down to the third floor, there was a display of the different types of Grammys, starting with the first one, then the second one, third from 1969 to 1988. Fourth one, which is from 1989 to 1990. This was a short-lived version. Then we have the fifth from 91 till present. I actually like the fourth one with the fifth bass, and then that's the Latin Grammy. Experience that I didn't record, but I wanted to mention was the Mono to Immersive Experience Room, where there were different performances that you could choose from. And then you went through all the different types of surround sound, stereo, MP3, and just how music has developed and sounded over the years. The most fascinating part was actually the best sounding was the 5.1 surround sound. It was the clearest, the most concise. You could hear the bass and all the instruments. MP3 was actually way worse and a lot more muffled than I thought. Getting back to the Selena exhibit, at the time of this recording, as well as when it goes up, I believe that it has been extended to May 11, 2026. Some of the highlights from this exhibit was her Selena purple jumpsuit, her Grammy and Lifetime Achievement Awards, personal cell phone, as well as a microphone that still had her famous red lipstick on it. With all that said, and with all due respect, I do have a couple of thoughts. It wasn't until the end of the tour where, if you were watching this far, you saw where I saw the Sheila E. drums. On the other side of that was a door opening that typically you could walk through, but you couldn't because you would have bumped right into the Selena exhibit. So while I was taking, these pictures and admiring the Sheila E. drums, there was a guard standing by the front because nobody could go in through that way. And from that side, I could see approximate dimensions of how big the exhibit was. And to be quite honest and frank, it was a small exhibit, possibly a wall, maybe the size and width of this full mural. Between waiting close to an hour to get inside of the museum itself, as well as not being able to really observe and appreciate some of the other exhibits present on the fourth floor due to the line that was forming across that floor that blocked your viewpoint of some other exhibits just to get to this one, I was honestly in disbelief. So much so that me and the security guard, we kind of went back and forth, and he was laughing at me because I'm looking at him dead ass in the face like, nah, it's not, that's it. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, no. For real. That's it. Because I figured out the dimensions. This is absolutely nothing against Selena fans. After having a conversation with one of my friends, I understood a little bit more the importance of Selena to her fans and to the community. It's kind of like having Aaliyah, and that's why there's that famous picture of them that has gone around social media and became viral. I just wish that the museum did a better job of the placement of this particular exhibit, especially because so many people wanted to see it and observe, and I knew we really popular. They could have put it possibly in its own private room, kind of like the mono to immersive experience, and then had that line up happen, or even a separate ticket just in case for those people such as myself who didn't want to see the Selena exhibit, and that way you could go through the rest of the place without any other obstructions. After the museum, went to Fixin's, which is a soul food restaurant at LA Live. This is my first time being here, but I have heard a lot of things about this place, so we were curious and had a taste for soul food. Here is the menu. They have fried chicken and other dishes. You can pause to look at it. I got a glass of the McBride Sauvignon Blanc to go with my shrimp and grits. This was so tasty and flavorful. The only thing I wish was that they were cheese grits already done, but I guess everybody doesn't like cheese. But even without it, this was really good. The shrimps were big. This was my friend's plate. They got chicken, collard greens, candied yams, and that's the little cornbread, as well as mac and cheese. The mac and cheese wasn't bad. This is a dish that we all know can be very tricky, especially when made for the masses. So again, for mass mac and cheese, it was actually tasty. Not going to beat the baked, but it will do. I also tried a little bit of everything on this plate, and everything was tasty. Actually, I tried everything except for the cornbread. The candied yams, they were decent. Collard greens, decent. Again, for soul food, this is not homemade. Again, it can be tricky. So to find a really good soul food for the masses, I actually enjoyed it. I will be coming back because I want to try their oxtails. I've never had black people oxtails. It's always been Jamaican oxtails. So I am looking forward to going back and trying. All in all, I had a pleasant time at the museum. I would say that this is a place, if you're visiting Los Angeles, or even if you live here, just to check out once in the blue. Maybe go every couple of years just to see what new stuff they put out. But all in all, it was a fun day. So until next time, thanks for watching. Subscribe and press that notification bell. Bye.